Hey, and thanks for passing by. Today, we're on part 2 of creating your own custom monster. Sadly, this is my second take on this video already because I may or may have not completely forgot to check if I'm muted on OBS. So for me, this is take 2, but for you, welcome. And I'm going to be teaching you how to color in the mob, and basically we're just going to get the texturing done on this episode. Before we do continue with this, I'd like to thank Revivenode for sponsoring this video. If you guys want to check them out in the description down below, you can get $1 a gigabyte on every single server, and using the promo code DIAMOND in all caps, you can get 15% off your very first purchase. I use them, I support them, and you can start your very own server to either play with friends or create your very own server. So make sure to check them out in the description down below. However, there are some minor things I want to fix. First of all, as you can see here, the 2D images sides are basically different colors, and this is going to cause a lot of issues. As you can see here, they're already clipping. So you can see as I move the camera, they can't decide which color they are, and that's perfectly fine, and that's more than expected. So what I'm going to do is click on one side. I'm actually going to enlarge this. I'm going to go to the other side. So here we have the pink side, and I'm going to click on the green, and all I'm going to do is just drag and drop the selection over to the pink. One last thing I'm going to do is go into UV mapping and then mirror exit. This is going to ensure that it looks exactly like the other side and it's mirrored, as if I didn't do this properly, I'll show you exactly what may happen. So I'm going to do the same thing here, and as you can see, I have the pink and I have the green. I know where the pink was, so I'll drag it up over there. Now what I'm going to do is go into the paint, and I'll just put a simple cube right here. If you look on the other side, it's on the completely different end, and that is because we haven't mirrored it yet. So go back into edit. And here I can just go ahead and click UV and switch it to Mirror X again. And just like that, both of them are at the end. Which side you do it on doesn't truly matter. Sometimes it will have to be Y, but it depends mainly on your model. The final bit I have to do is the tail. And thinking about it over time, I've decided I'm not going to need this texture or this block. I can make it simply just from this single block here alone. Regardless, I still have to do the map again. So it is up here and below. Sometimes you'll see it highlighted, and that really is a helpful indicator. So I'll just drag and drop, and I'll just mirror it again. And last but not least, we'll do the nails. I actually delete all of them as I only need one. So I'll do that again, get one of them, ensure the other side, and then just drag and drop and mirror X, just like that. Now we're done with all the 2D textures, and that's super important as you want to make sure the textures line up perfectly. Now we can go into paint and we can actually get started with this monstrosity per se. But now what we're going to do is we're going to add some reference images. For me, since this is a Minecraft mob already and all I'm doing is making more of an advanced version of it, what I can do is just click on import, and here I have a hoglin. All this is going to do is import the texture, but it's not going to do anything. And I'm actually going to minimize this. So this is our entire model. All I'm going to do is create a new cube that's outside of the model, as this isn't going to be permanent, and all I'm going to be doing is deleting it after, so it's not important for us at all. I'll enlarge it and then just drag this model right on top. I can go ahead and click on it, and I can rescale the size of the image, and just like that, I have a reference image for the hoglin, or in this case, Hoglin Beast. Now we can go ahead into paint, and we can actually get started with this monstrosity. It actually looks bigger here for some reason. But now I'm going to go ahead and click on the color picker, and there's other tools such as eraser, paint bucket, and the paint brush. Throughout this episode, you may hear me saying pen tool, and that's basically how I reference it, since I'm more used to Photoshop than Blockbench, and I tend to use the pen tool more. So if you ever hear me that, just ignore it, and you just know that I'm referencing the paintbrush. But I'll go ahead and actually start just grabbing the color from the hoglin here and just start painting him in. And what I'm gonna do here is I'm actually just gonna go ahead and click once on this side. And the reason I do that, it can vary on what you're creating, but I just prefer removing every single one of these colorful cubes all at once. As it won't matter at the end of the video, I'll explain how to make it just a little bit more optimized regarding the texture, but for now, this is what I do. You do not have to do this at all. This is just something I do, it's something personal I do, and I really don't mind it as much. But it's totally up to you. You could just go in each block and click it. I prefer doing like this. I added the base coat. It was simple. And now I can actually go ahead and start adding more layers to it. But first, I'm actually going to go into these 2D images here, and I'll actually erase them so I can up the scale here. So I'll up it to 3. And I'm actually going to erase all of these because I want them to look more like hair, and it can't just look like one giant cube line. I'll do the same here. And the last and final place would be the tail. I was actually mistaken. I forgot the nail. And just like that, it's done. So the 2D textures are a lot easier to do. I actually missed one here, and that is important because I actually will need to go back into edit and ensure that it is also mirrored, just like that. So all our 2D are completely cleaned out, and we have a base layer coat. Now I'm going to grab the color of the tusks. So I'll go ahead and click on the paint bucket, and then I can just color them in as well. Make sure you get every single angle possible, as you may not see it now, but you may see it in game. You can always come back and color them in later if that is an issue for you. But overall, we got this part done. I'm actually going to come in, I'm going to copy the color of the hair, and I will start actually making the hair bit. To get started, I'll just draw a line so I know where I have to make it, and I'll try to simulate how they have it on Minecraft, which is just cubes going up and down. Quite like it. I want mine, of course, to look a little bit more wild, since this is going to be a more aggressive type mob. I'm going to do the same thing on top of the head. The last final place will be the tail. And we have some simple detail that just makes it look a little bit better. I'm gonna grab some yellow to orange just to make it look a little bit like gold. And I'm gonna add a earring to this monster, as he's from the nether, and I could add a little bit of backstory that the piglins tried to tame these monsters, but it didn't work out for them. And that's how they got the gold. So with just a little bit of simple coloring, we can see how the monster is gonna look like. I'm gonna add some simple details that are gonna make a difference for me at least, and that's gonna be probably some red, darker color for the eyes. And I'll just start by making a quick line like that, and perfect. Just like that, I have some simple eyes. And from on here, all I really showed is just some basic stuff you can do. I really cannot teach you guys how to shade. This is something I'm not even a professional at. I can do a small, tiny, decent job at, but probably from here all the way until I'm done texturing, I'm gonna speed up the video, as I don't want to mistake you guys and say that I'm a professional when I truly am not. But overall, if you get the idea, you can just color everything in, and for example, I will probably add a snout here, and that's really it. So I'll try to give some more examples at the end, but for now, let's just speed run and see how this goes. Alright, I'm so far close to over an hour in just texturing and recording this video, and I wouldn't say the texturing looks amazing, but it gets the job done. And I didn't want to rush it, as I didn't want to make anything different later, but I think I'm fine with publishing this for free later down the line. So next thing we have to do is just replicate the nails. I didn't want to do so many later, so I'm just going to do 1, 2, move them down, and just do the same process on every single foot. I could just not do this. I really don't want to, but I'm going for the pain of doing it. It's going to do this on every single foot, paste it in, and then just drag them over. And there we have it. Now we have the monster fully created and textured. And last thing we're missing is just animations. That's going to be on the next episode, but I'm just going to do one final quick thing. I'm going to line him more into the center, and I'll actually be able to delete this texture now. One quick thing, if you want to see, is you can create a new texture and get all this brown removed. Like I said, it was all just temporary, and one way we can do that is by clicking create texture as we're highlighting on the Hoglin beast, and I'll just call it beast this time. as it won't matter. I can rename it after, and I click confirm, and it's going to create the texture all over again, just without the brown parts, so it just looks more clean. I only did that because I didn't want to fill up everything manually. It's really up to you how you set that process up. You can also see another part is I actually colored inside of the mouth because that part will be opened later in the animation phase, and I pre-prepared for that exact scenario. But for now, I'm happy with the texturing and feel like we can continue on with the very next episode. But sadly, you will have to wait till then. I'd like to thank you very much for watching, and thank you for all the support that you've provided on the last video. I'm Diamond, and I'll see you guys next time. Cheers.